Subscribe to this podcast to get exclusive access to the after show Shooting the Breeze. Hello and welcome to Cool Explorations. I'm your host, Tony Peters. Today we have Hannyta, a pop singer who is hitting the charts by storm lately, and she is going to talk about her music as well as about how God has really brought her to the point where she's at and has really worked through her and with her. Hello, everyone. Today we have Hannyta. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes.
Perfect. She is a pop singer and been really exploding on the charts. Congrats on that. Nice to see the success. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Great start. So my name is Hannyta, as you said, really nice. It's really funny because I'm actually Hungarian and I moved to the UK when I was really young. I basically grew up here. I think I moved here around when I was 5 or 6. And I lived in the Highlands in Fort William for a good 13 years. And it was so beautiful. Oh my goodness, in the middle of nowhere with the hills and everything. And to do with the nickname, it's it's a funny story because in Hungary we have many nicknames. And Hannyta's what I go by usually, and everybody just calls me Hannyta. But in English, I wrote it with a Y. It's actually an I in Hungary, but okay. I wrote it with a Y. So no, the English people will say Hannyta. But I've had all sorts, so I'm glad you could pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, that sounds really beautiful. I come from BC, the west coast of Canada here originally. And that's mountains, trees, the ocean. So that was kind of what I grew up with. And then I moved to the prairies where it's a lot flatter and a lot less to look at. But northern Saskatchewan has a lot more trees and stuff like that, and rivers and that. It's really gorgeous actually up in northern Saskatchewan.
It's so lovely.
And we have a very large Native community up there, which is a lot of reservations. It's nice for them to live amongst a lot of the trees and nature and all that, which is fantastic. Yeah. So I know you're fairly young yourself, which is nice to see you're kind of getting into music at a young age. How have you had God guiding your life so far? How's he been at work, and what's he currently doing in your life?
Doing something every day for sure. I've always loved music since I was growing up, and I was just used to go into my room at grandstands and everything, just sitting at the piano and playing for hours, driving the whole family insane with the same repeated little tune, Oh my goodness, echoing through the house. Yeah, so I've always loved music, and there has always been this drive in my heart to pursue it in the future. And I was really quite shy at the start, but my parents have always been super supportive and told me to go out there, follow your dream, follow the goal, and see if you can influence people through music. And yes, and my mom also plays a little bit of music as well, and she sings also. So yeah.
Yeah, and my daughter's 7, and she's the same way. She's always singing, always performing. There's always Pink. She loves Pink. To sing to.
Oh, Pink's really nice. Yeah.
Secrets. That's the song my daughter absolutely loves by her, and has performed for us many times. And whenever it comes on in the car, she always starts bobbing her head and singing to it. So it's interesting to kind of see that, because their personality comes out at a young age already. And God just flows through music, and it's wonderful to see that. How would you really describe that style of music that you play? Because I know pop is kind of a very broad, general description.
Definitely, yeah. Well, when I started out and I posted everything into YouTube, I still feel like I'm still experimenting with all the genres out there, because there's so many, And I did a little bit of country, a little bit of pop, and EDM as well. But I think I'm going towards EDM. electronic dance music in the
Yeah.
future. And yeah, and like I have the song Wildflower, which initially was my very first original single. And that came to be in such a crazy way as well. It took like 6 weeks to shoot the music video, which was crazy. We took all summer. We went to the Highlands and everything.
Yeah, there was quite a
And
variety
it
in
came out.
there.
Yeah. So initially that came to be by we watched a movie called Wind Talkers, and it was I think 2009 maybe, roughly there, with Nicolas Cage. And it really influenced me because it was basically, if you've not seen the movie, it's basically about these naval wind talkers who helped out during the American World War. And they what they did in the war was amazing. They used their unique language that was never written down. Nobody understood it. And they
Hmm.
were on the radios, and they were like talking in that language, and nobody understood it, not the enemy or anything. And they were just like, they helped so much in the war. And it was just this influence that I had to write a song, tell people about it. And because it's a topic, and it's that not many people know and have heard of. And it turned out really great, and like we got like the tribal makeup and everything, and it was
I loved it.
amazing.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's such a good movie. It really is a good movie. If you've not seen it, people, you should definitely watch that movie
definitely.
because
Yeah,
it does tell a
very
good,
powerful.
yeah, a good piece of history that people don't know about, like you say. So it's fantastic. And I was going to ask you about that song, so that's perfect. And it was a finalist for the Louis Benuel. Is that how they pronounce that Memorial Award? How did that feel to be nominated for that award for one of your first songs that you've done?
Oh, that was amazing. I couldn't believe it, honestly. I was like, what? Me? No way. Yeah, I was so super grateful. Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah, and again, that's just God blessing what you're doing, and
Definitely. Yeah.
I love that. And you've had a lot of success with a more recent song as well. Do you want to tell us about your latest single that's out and that's really hitting the charts?
Yeah, sure. So my latest single that was released is called Fluctuating. And that has a crazy story as well. It's more of a love song, and about like a relationship. And whenever I write a song, I feel like I always want to take a positive turn, like even bad situations in life, like it's a bad breakup or a bad day at work or anything like that. I always try to take a positive turn to make it more happy and cheerful. I don't write anything depressing, you listen to it, you just wanna, nope.
Yeah.
Not my style. Always happy, cheerful. My friends always say I'm really positive as well. And I just want to remind people of all the good, that can turn from bad situations as well. So that's basically what Fluctuating is. It's like a kind of like a breakup song, but a happy turn on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of a fresh perspective on that, fresh take, which is nice. It's you also had your song 17, which was also very successful for you. Do you want to tell us about that song?
Yeah, sure. So 17, I was super lucky because I met the with the MTS management group that I work with. I could meet lovely people. And I met this lovely American couple who actually wrote the song about being 17. And I was exactly 17 at the time. So they were like, you know what, you can take the song and like take your own turn on it. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's such a great opportunity. That would be amazing. And I actually, it's such a good memory to look back, oh, 17, that's when I actually was 17. It's a lot like a country song that they wrote the lyrics to, and it could do this collaboration. That was one of my very first collaborations as well. It was so exciting and so fun. And it turned out to be so great as well, with the cowboy hat and everything, so country.
Yeah, I could tell you had fun
Yeah,
with that.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that always comes through in music videos, and when you can tell the singer's just really having fun with something rather than just singing something, they're actually
Yeah.
like they feel it. What's it been like to be so young and getting into that more professional singer role?
Oh wow, it's been really exciting and a really big journey as well, to be honest. just from starting off on YouTube, being small and like having a few videos up, and then all this views and everything just like popping out. It's crazy. Like I think the for the 17, that's my most streamed music on Spotify. I think it's roughly 60,000 that it reached, which is insane. I was like, wow, 60,000 people listen to my song, that I had a collaboration with. Oh my goodness, wow, yeah. So it's been crazy.
And where does that passion for music come from? I know you said you've always really felt that at a young age. Do you know where that passion really comes from? Was it your parents, or was there other influence?
I had a few influences growing up. I loved Adele. She was really good. I love Lauren Daigle as well. Her songs, oh, they're really, really, really good.
Powerful. Yeah,
Very
very powerful.
powerful.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so when you were learning music, did you get like professional training, or is it just something that just kind of came naturally and you went with it?
I always felt like I could. I always loved to sing, so I always sang at home, wherever, whenever I could. And my parents were like, "Oh, you're actually quite good. We should have some singing lessons." So I got private singing lessons and a vocal coach to work with as well, and I got private piano lessons as well growing up.
Yeah, I took a couple of years of it myself, and then I kind of stopped. I decided
Oh,
I really liked the music, like writing part of it is more what I enjoyed. So that's kind of what I poured my heart into, is into poetry and stories. And now I'm turning my poems into songs. And
oh wow, that sounds really good.
yeah, it's been an interesting process for me to kind of learn the other side of it. And recently I interviewed Bonnie Milne, who is a classical pianist out of Toronto. And
Oh wow.
I sent her some songs that I actually put words to her music, which was a different
Really?
experience again, because I'm used to actually writing the lyrics and not thinking about the other side of it so much. It's just my tune. So it was interesting to have to time out music to the changes in the classical beat.
Yeah.
So that was really an interesting process. Um, when you Do you struggle at all with balancing your music life with family, friends? Is that kind of something you struggle with, or is that something that is just it just goes?
Sometimes it can be a little difficult, because I have some friends who are working now, and like besides school as well. To time managing is a little hard because I was always booked for like, recording and video recording and video shoots as well, and mastering and all these other things as well that we have to do. There's so many processes we have to go through and so many trials. And by the time we actually have not even the video clip or anything like that. By the time we have sorry, the melody itself, I just play up onto my piano, send it to the producer, get it back, and then the whole process takes so long, until we finally get the song. And I'm just like away working, and I start singing the same melodies that we recorded for like 5 hours straight the night before. And it's just stuck in my head. But yeah, sometimes it can get hard a little bit, to when some of my friends say, "Oh, let's meet up this weekend." I was like, "Oh no, I have this and this booked for this weekend." But sometimes it's really fun, because music is always fun to do for me, even just recording or shooting the video or anything. That's always exciting, and I always try to make time for everybody. But it can get hard sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a process editing and all that. And right now
Yeah.
I'm a one-man show, so I do all of that for me right now.
Wow.
As we grow, we're hoping to kind of expand. I've got some other people in the works for that kind of stuff. So it's interesting seeing the music side, because it does compare a lot to podcasting, and in terms of the work that goes into it
Mhm.
and the production part of it. But it's fun. I love it, and I learn so much all the time from it. And writing music to me is really cool. I don't know chords very well, so I don't do that part. I just do the lyrics. But to
We
be
should
able to,
definitely write a song as well together. Let's do a
yeah,
little collab here.
yeah, collab work is fun.
Yeah.
I've been learning that I really a lot more musicians are working on collaboration stuff, and it's fun because you get to play off each other, and you learn from each other in different
Yeah,
things. So yeah,
exactly.
it's fun, and I would definitely be open to that. What comes next for you as a musician, or where do you see yourself going?
Um, it's really competitive, this music world, you know. There's so many different kinds of styles, and it's just really a big journey to, leap of faith, basically. Um, Honestly, I feel like I really want to pursue it as a career. I've not been able to do live shows yet because of the whole COVID that happened and everything like that. But hopefully, we can get to do that soon. And I also, during COVID, we actually built a vocal booth at home. And that was a whole adventure in itself.
I
Because,
bet.
yeah. And we got all the setup and everything so we can send it to the producer over lockdown, and that was really useful. That helped a lot. But going forward, my goal for now is to get an EP and more original songs, maybe some covers in there as well. Yeah, and definitely do some more collaborations. They always sound really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and we're one of the things we're looking at here is building a studio, setting it up in, it'll be my basement because that's the most affordable, cost efficient thing, but it's expensive to do. uh
Very, yeah.
yeah, so that's something that again is just necessary for the kinds of things that we do, is to get that kind of stuff set up. But funding is definitely there, um where you have to go out and try and get money from people, which is hard. uh
Yeah.
how do you balance that and kind of take that into play with what you do, the funding and being able to afford it?
Hmm. Well, music is really, really expensive. But I'm super blessed because my parents are always been super supportive, and we all work together in that area, and being the producer as well and everything like that. And I
Mhm.
work now as well, and it all goes to the music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet. Have you seen God at work throughout this entire journey, through your work, your music, and going into the music? How have you seen God working through all of that?
Oh, he's been working everywhere, through up, down, everywhere. Honestly, it's been a crazy journey, and I couldn't have done it without him because even just the start of putting your music out there, to the world has been, wow, overwhelming, And even when I just come home and then just put on some music, listen to my nice little tunes, get filled with the Holy Spirit and everything, and just even like writing songs on the piano, like when God influences you and gives you ideas, it's just such a great experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that, just because, yeah, sometimes, like you say, Lauren Daigle, Chris Tomlin, uh
Oh yeah.
when you turn their music
Mhm.
on, it just kind of, it fills you with the Holy Spirit. You just kind of just feel that love go through it.
Yeah.
And it's definitely good inspiration. There's a lot of times where I'll hear a song and I'll just be like, I'll be like, oh, I feel something.
That hit hard. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then it's like, oh, I gotta write this down. And usually it's like right when I'm going to bed, and I'm just like, I pull out my
I
phone,
have
start
that sometimes
typing.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
before I just like doze off. Oh, I need to get that done quickly.
Yeah, because if you
Yeah.
don't write it down, you're not gonna remember it. There's
Yeah,
no
exactly.
I'm gonna come back to that later. No, it's, if it's not down, it's not there.
Yeah.
I had that
Yeah.
when I was just before an interview the other day, and they were late, and
Oh.
I'm like scribbling down stuff, and then they finally came back on. I'm like, oh, I've got another verse to do. Pushed it aside. I'm like, I did finish it later. It was a little harder to finish it later because I was in a real role, but it was just interesting that, it, when the
Yeah,
inspiration hits you, it's just like you got to get it down.
definitely. Yeah.
Where can people find yourself and your music online?
I am on all of the main platforms. I am just starting out on TikTok as well. And I'm on Instagram and YouTube as well, and Spotify and Apple Music and a few other musical platforms as well. There's so many out there.
Yep, there is.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, and you've got your website as well, right?
Yes, the website as well.
Yeah, okay. So we'll put a link to that in the description, and that's www.hannyta.com. So HANNYTA.com. And you'll be able to find that in the description for the video as well as for the podcast. So do check that out. And there are a lot of platforms out there. It's hard to track a lot of that stuff just because there are so many. I know I'm on over 20 platforms myself just for podcasting.
Wow.
And so that can be a little overwhelming to try and keep track of all of that. How do you mentally prepare yourself for when you're going to go into recording and that kind of stuff? What goes through your mind, and what's that process look like?
Mm-hmm. For me personally, when I first have to warm up for any song, and that usually takes like 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. If I want to go really high in the song or really low, I always have to warm up a good few hours before I just pick. Like, I actually have like this whole list of all my favorite Christian tunes. I'm just like belting it and just enjoying myself, and that just like gets me ready to like record any song, that even if it's it really helps me. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I just go to the
that
vocal booth and then just start recording, and I'm already ready for it.
yeah, it sounds like athletes, they have their songs that it's like they're get them all revved up and ready for it.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting comparison there. But yeah, I know there's a lot of vocal work that has to go into preparing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
If you don't warm up, you can be the dying cat next door.
yeah,
It sounds so bad.
you sound like me in the car.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear me except my wife when I'm in the car, and it's oftentimes I think she wants to plug her ears too. Uh,
Oh.
is there a piece of advice that you'd like to give to people who are really just trying to get into the music industry, and they're thinking about that? What advice would you give to them?
Definitely the first one being to never give up. If it's your goal and if it's your passion, really stick to it and be brave, put it out there. It's definitely a really big step. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know doing interviews is probably a weird feeling as well, to get used to that.
Definitely weird when I got into them. Yeah. Even my first interview, I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, the nerves.
Yeah.
You get them on this side too, before an interview every once in a while. Just be like, oh, I'm kind of getting nervous. But yeah, you kind of work through those nerves. And prayer for me is one thing that really helps me calm and get into that groove is just prayer. Uh,
Yeah.
prayer walks, I found. Do you find that a lot with what you do too, that prayer is kind of interwoven into everything?
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
So I really enjoyed this interview. We're going to talk some after as well. And thanks for coming on and sharing with us. It's been a real pleasure. I'd love to
No problem at all.
love to have
Thank you
you
so much
back
for
on.
having me.
Thank you for listening to Cool Explorations. You've just heard from Hannyta, pop singer who's been hitting the charts lately, and she's just been talking about how her music has been a real blessing to her, as well as how God is using that music and has really used that in her life to create a real blessing and following for her. Well, I have just been blessed with so many people who are requesting to be on the show, and I'm impressed with how many people want to share their testimonies or what they're doing for the Lord right now. If I haven't got back to you, I promise I will get back to you. I look forward to speaking with each of you and interviewing you, and keep tuning into the show. There's lots of new people that are coming on here, and if you're considering wanting to come on the show, just shoot me an email at tpeters745 at gmail.com, and I will get back to you.